My name is Marjorie Pugh. I'm 25 years old, and for most of my life, I didn't realize how easy it is to disappear inside your own family until the day they helped push me out completely. I grew up in a pretty average middle-class neighborhood in Michigan. Nothing dramatic on the surface. A faded blue two-story house my dad always promised he'd repaint next summer. A kitchen that constantly smelled like food because my mom ran her catering business from home. My dad worked long shifts at a manufacturing plant, coming home tired and quiet, like the world had already wrung him dry before dinner. From the outside, we looked normal. Inside, it was obvious who mattered. I have a younger sister, Ashley, 2 years younger than me, and from the moment she was born, she became the center of gravity in our house. Everything bent toward her. Ashley could fail a test, and my parents would say, "At least you tried, sweetheart." I could bring home straight A's and get a distracted, "That's nice," without them even looking up. She once nearly set the kitchen on fire trying to make toast, actual flames licking up the side of the counter, and my parents laughed like it was adorable. If I forgot to put gas in the car, I got a lecture about responsibility and consequences. I learned early that love in our house wasn't equal, it was conditional, and I wasn't the condition they cared about. So I focused on myself, school, a part-time job, hanging out with my friends Brandon and Mike, staying up late, playing video games, and talking about nothing important. I didn't party. I didn't cause trouble. I didn't ask for much. I told myself that if I kept my head down long enough, things would even out. They never did. When I was 19, Ashley started dating Tyler. From the first second I met him, my stomach dropped. He was the kind of guy who smiled without warmth. No job, no plans, no ambition. He floated through life like consequences were for other people. He spent his days sprawled on our couch, eating food he didn't buy, laughing too loud at things that weren't funny. Ashley thought he was exciting, said he was misunderstood, said I was judgmental. But I wasn't wrong. I started noticing things, little things at first. I saw Tyler at the mall once, hovering near the electronics section like he was waiting for something. Another time, he bragged about finding a brand new iPhone and flipping it for cash. He said it with pride, like he'd pulled off something impressive. The way he talked made it obvious he didn't just stumble across it on the sidewalk. I told my parents. My mom accused me of being jealous because I didn't have a boyfriend. My dad said Ashley was smart enough to make her own decisions. What never stopped bothering me was that they'd hated every guy Ashley dated before Tyler. But him? They suddenly went blind. Ashley changed too. She got secretive, started borrowing money from my mom's purse, staying out late, lying about where she was, locking her bedroom door, something we'd never done growing up. Tyler would show up at midnight honking his horn, and my parents would let her leave. He'd come to family dinners obviously high, red eyes, slow reactions, and no one said a word. Once I overheard him talking about his friends making good money on a job. Not work, not legally. The moment that really sealed it for me came one night around 2 a.m. I was up late gaming when I glanced out my bedroom window and saw Tyler crouched beside our neighbor's car, working at the door with some kind of tool. I confronted him the next day. He smiled and said he was checking if the car was locked for safety reasons. I told my parents again. My mom said I was trying to stir up drama. My dad told me to mind my own business. Ashley defended him, saying he was probably getting something she left in the car, even though she'd never been in that car once. That was the moment I realized something terrifying. It didn't matter what I saw. It didn't matter what I knew. They had already chosen her, and I had no idea how badly that choice was about to destroy my life. March 2010 is burned into my memory in a way no date ever should be. It was right after my birthday. I remember that because I'd worked a double shift at the warehouse instead of celebrating. I was saving for community college, taking every night shift I could get. Most nights I got home around 11, microwaved something sad, played a few hours of games with Brandon and Mike to shut my brain off, then passed out. That routine mattered later, because it proved I wasn't home. That was the week things started disappearing. First, it was my mom's jewelry, a gold necklace her grandmother had given her, a couple of rings she wore for special events. She was upset, but not suspicious yet. She assumed she'd misplaced them. My mom misplaced things all the time. Then my dad's Rolex went missing. That was different. He tore the house apart looking for it. Checked drawers, closets, the garage. When it didn't turn up, he turned to me. "Did you take it?" he asked, flat, already convinced. I laughed at first. I thought he was joking. I wasn't asking him for money. I had my own job, my own savings. But the way he stared at me, like he was measuring how good a liar I was, made my stomach drop. Then the electronics started disappearing. The iPad vanished. Then my mom's laptop, the one she used to run her catering business. No broken windows, no forced doors, nothing disturbed. Someone with access to the house was doing this. I started watching Ashley more closely. She jumped whenever someone mentioned the missing stuff. She locked her bedroom door constantly now. Tyler stopped coming around as much, which felt strange considering how attached they'd been. Then came the morning everything exploded. I was getting ready for work when I heard screaming from upstairs. Not fear, performance. I ran up, heart pounding, expecting to see someone hurt. Instead, Ashley was standing in the hallway, shaking, tears streaming down her face, pointing directly at me. I caught her, she sobbed. My parents came running. Ashley told them she'd been staying up late studying. Ashley, who never studied, and saw me sneaking into their room multiple times at night. Said she was too scared to say anything before, but now it was out of control. She described everything in perfect detail. Where the jewelry was kept, which drawer my dad's watch was in, what nights I supposedly went in. I tried to explain. I told them I worked nights, that I had timesheets, that Brandon and Mike could confirm I was online gaming with them most evenings. They wouldn't look at the proof. I pointed out that none of my stuff was missing, that nothing in the house showed signs of forced entry, that Ashley somehow knew exactly where everything had been kept. Every time I spoke, my dad shut me down. Finally, he snapped. Either admit what you did and return everything, he said, voice shaking with rage, or get out. I can't return what I didn't take, I said. That was it. He started throwing my things into garbage bags. Clothes, shoes, books. He gave me 1 hour to leave. While I packed, I heard Ashley laughing in her room, on the phone. Soft at first, then louder, like something funny had just worked exactly the way she wanted. My mom stood in the kitchen crying, not stopping anything. My dad followed me from room to room, watching me like I might steal something else on my way out. 19 years of being the good daughter, straight A's, no trouble. And suddenly I was a criminal. I called my Aunt Sarah. Ashley had already gotten to her. Same with cousins, family friends. Within 48 hours, everyone believed the lie. I walked out with trash bags, nowhere to go, no plan, no backup. I sat in my car for a long time, hands shaking on the steering wheel, trying to understand how my entire life had collapsed before midnight. I slept in a Walmart parking lot for 2 nights before Brandon's family let me crash on their couch. And that was just the beginning of losing everything. Those first 2 nights in my car didn't feel real. I parked under a flickering streetlight in a Walmart parking lot, reclined my seat as far as it would go, and told myself it was temporary. Just a pause, a bad dream I'd wake up from. I didn't sleep much. Every sound made me jolt upright. Car doors slamming, footsteps, my phone buzzing with messages from relatives telling me I should do the right thing and apologize. Apologize for what exactly? On the 3rd night, Brandon's parents let me crash on their couch. They were kind. Too kind. His mom kept offering me food, saying things like, "Stay as long as you need." But I could see the strain it put on them. Their house was small. Their bills were tight. I felt like a burden, just existing in their space. I had to quit my warehouse job. It was too far from their place, and my gas money was disappearing fast. The savings I'd been building for community college, gone within weeks. Food, gas, basic survival. I applied everywhere. Grocery stores, fast food, warehouses, retail. Nothing. The rumor had already spread. Some places would seem interested, then suddenly ghost me. One manager accidentally let it slip during a phone call. We heard some concerning things. Thanks, Mom and Dad. After a few weeks, I moved to Mike's family's house. Same story, different couch, same guilt, same whispered conversations I pretended not to hear. I made myself invisible, waited until everyone was asleep to shower, left the house early, stayed out all day job hunting, kept all my belongings in my car so I wouldn't take up space. 2 months passed like that. Then Mike's older brother, James, threw me a lifeline. He told me about a job opening at his friend's auto shop in the next town over. It wasn't glamorous. Answering phones, scheduling appointments, data entry, minimum wage. I would have scrubbed floors if it meant stability. The owner, Dave, didn't ask many questions. James vouched for me, and that was enough. When he found out I didn't have a place yet, he quietly let me sleep in the break room for a few weeks until I saved enough for a deposit. That alone almost broke me. I found a tiny studio apartment above a Chinese restaurant. 1 room, a bathroom, a hot plate. The smell of fried rice seeped into everything. But it was mine. I rebuilt my life inch by inch. After 6 months, Dave promoted me to service advisor. I started taking online classes when I could afford them. I made friends at work, people who didn't know my past, who didn't look at me like I was hiding something. Meanwhile, my family acted like I'd never existed. I saw it all on Facebook. Ashley got into college. My parents bought her a car for graduation. Family vacations, holiday photos, smiling faces. I was eating ramen, counting quarters for laundry. Then Tyler got arrested. Breaking into cars at the mall. Security caught him in the act. Ashley broke up with him immediately and posted a long message about escaping a toxic relationship. My parents praised her bravery. They never once reached out to me. That's when I met Ethan. He brought his car into the shop for an oil change, arguing with someone on the phone about coding issues. A software engineer. Brilliant. Distracted. Kind. I messed up his paperwork because I couldn't focus. He came back anyway. And slowly, carefully, I let someone see me again. For the first time in years, my life was finally moving forward. And that's when my family decided they wanted me back. Ethan proposed on a random Tuesday night. No crowd, no cameras. Just us in our small apartment, sitting on the floor eating takeout because neither of us felt like cooking. He pulled the ring out of his hoodie pocket like it had been there all along, waiting for the right moment. I said yes before he even finished asking. For a while, it felt like the universe was finally balancing itself. We didn't plan anything extravagant, just a small wedding, close friends, Ethan's family, people who actually knew us. His mom posted a photo of the ring on Facebook because she was excited. That's how my family found out. Within days, my phone started lighting up like a warning signal. First, my cousin Rachel. Why didn't you tell your parents? Then my Aunt Sarah. They're devastated they had to hear it online. My mom didn't message me directly at first. She went through relatives instead. Told them I was breaking her heart, that I was holding on to the past, that Ashley missed me and wanted to heal. Ashley even posted about it, long emotional statuses about family fractures and choosing love over resentment. People commented with heart emojis and Bible verses. I kept every message because the story kept changing. At first it was, "You're remembering it wrong." Then, "We were just trying to teach you responsibility." Then, "You're making Ashley feel guilty over misunderstandings." Finally, I got an email from Ashley. She said she was in therapy now, that she wanted to make amends, that she had something important to tell me about what really happened back then. Ethan didn't trust it. Neither did I. But I agreed to meet them. I chose a Denny's near my place. Public. Neutral. Bright. Somewhere no one could twist the story later. Ethan waited in the car, watching through the window. They showed up 20 minutes late. My dad tried to hug me. I stepped back. My mom was already crying before she sat down. Ashley stared at her menu like it held the secrets of the universe. 5 minutes passed. Awkward silence. The waitress tried to take our order twice. Then my dad started talking about time-healing wounds and family sticking together. Ashley started crying on cue. That's when the truth finally came out. Tyler had stolen everything. Not just once, for months. My parents had found out 2 weeks after they kicked me out. Tyler had been caught trying to break into someone else's house and confessed to multiple thefts, including ours. They knew. They all knew. They didn't tell me because they were worried about Ashley's reputation, about her future, about how it would look if people found out her boyfriend was a criminal. They figured I'd land on my feet because I was strong. I asked one question. If I hadn't gotten engaged, would you have ever told me? Silence. Then they started talking about the wedding. My dad mentioned walking Ashley down the aisle. My mom talked about helping with planning. Ashley asked if she could be a bridesmaid. Something inside me finally snapped. I told them everything. The car, the couches, losing my job, being branded a thief, the years of silence. They said I needed to move on, so I told them they weren't invited. That's when Ethan walked in. Calm, cold, clear. "I think it's time for you to leave," he said. And for the first time in my life, someone chose me, without hesitation. I thought that telling them they weren't invited would be the end of it. I was wrong. What I didn't understand yet was that people who refuse to take responsibility don't quietly accept consequences. They escalate, they rewrite, they invade. The smear campaign started almost immediately. My parents went back to the relatives they'd poisoned years ago and told a new version of the story. Now, it wasn't that I'd stolen from them. It was that I was unstable, that I was holding on to trauma, that I was punishing them instead of healing. Ashley posted vague quotes about forgiveness, about siblings who choose hate, about how hard it is to love someone who won't let go of the past. Ethan wanted to block all of them. I didn't. I knew they weren't done. So when Ethan's brother Kevin, who works in event security, heard about the situation, he didn't even hesitate. "You need security," he said. "Trust me." Best decision we made. They tried 3 times. The first attempt was during setup. Ashley showed up early, dressed like she belonged there, telling the coordinator she was one of the bridesmaids. She tried to sneak my parents in through the back. She even claimed she was my best friend from college. Security escorted all 3 of them out. The second attempt was worse. My dad showed up at the main entrance in a suit, confident, loud, insisting he was the father of the bride. When security checked the list and said no, he started yelling about how he paid for my whole life. Funny how that didn't include the 6 years I spent homeless because of him. The third attempt happened during the ceremony. Right as Ethan and I were exchanging vows, my mom burst in through the side door screaming that she had a right to see her baby get married. Ashley followed behind her, pretending to calm her down while making it worse. Ethan's dad stood up. Calm, firm. "Trespassers," he said. "Remove them." Security escorted them out. The police arrived shortly after. After hearing both sides, the officers told my parents they were lucky we weren't pressing charges. Despite everything, the wedding was beautiful. Ethan cried during my vows. Brandon and Mike stood beside me, solid as ever. Ethan's mom called me her daughter in her speech. The next day, my phone exploded. Relatives calling me cruel, heartless, vindictive. So I told the truth once. I posted everything. The theft, the lies, the 6 years of silence. Then I blocked them all. 3 months later, life is quiet, peaceful, full. Ethan and I bought a house. We host Sunday dinners. Dave promoted me again. Brandon and Mike still come over for game nights. Ashley sent one last letter. I didn't respond. I don't miss my family. I miss who I thought they were. Turns out the best revenge isn't exposure or anger. It's building a life so full that the people who tried to destroy you no longer matter.